Hello and welcome to the Cyber1 YouTube channel. My name is Ray, and in this video, part 6 of SpotMicro build, we're going to start attaching the legs to the robot. So we've previously in other videos assembled each of the legs. We've also assembled and wired the body. Let me just move this into frame. So we're going to be attaching, we'll start with the back legs onto here, then we'll go with the front legs. Now, something that I did since the last video when I assembled these, when I assembled the shoulder onto this servo, I actually set it so that it was aligned with the bottom of the leg while it was folded up at one end of its travel. And that was probably an incorrect position to put it. The best setting to set it at when you're building it or assembling this onto this servo is to align this with the length of the length of the leg at the middle position. That is at position 180. Position of 90 degrees or 1500 microseconds. So in this video, we're going to have to align these, and to align those, we're going to use 1500 microseconds again and go for as straight as we can get. If you can't get dead straight, you're better to kick out a little bit. We can correct a lot of the error with the program. So this is set at 1500 microseconds. This horn, which is the 6-wing horn, we'll just push into here. Same with this one. Now, it is recommended that these get glued in with super glue. I haven't done that. I may at a later date come back and just put a bit of plastic weld over to hold them in. It's a bit on the wrong side. And then we just put our screw in. It's not too bad. Let's get the other one sorted. That'll do. Okay, so before we put this on too far, we do need to add some bearings. This side gets more complicated because of the extra wiring. I'm going to have to extend those wires. I was hoping to avoid that. I'll come back to that. I want to get the front legs on first. Okay, so the front legs are the same deal. We want the center of this servo, or the center of this frame, to be center of this at 1500 microsecond, or in line with this. That's the same for both legs. What I've done here is I found some spiral wrap. Now, you can get this in various different sizes. This is one of the small sizes I've got. It's just for cable management. It keeps the cables nice, neat and tidy and together. And I've just started back over here, wrapped it around, added this one in, kept wrapping. At this point, I had a two-way piece that I had. Well, these arrived with giant size servos that I used in the Inmoov Robot, and I didn't use any of them, so I cut one leg off, and that makes an extension, and that just fits in there. So I've used that on both legs. I'll probably do the same thing on a heap of those spares that I've got for the front legs as well, and then use spiral wrap to wrap those as well. Alright, so let's get this set. So the longest one is for this. I'm definitely going to have to glue these in, or weld these in. Okay, so in this case I've got more room, so I'm going to feed these wires through first. Bearings in. Okay, so we're getting pretty close. I had the NPU 6050 out while I was wiring up the batteries and forgot to put it back in. Right, so this is the shoulder. I'm going to put it on the first set of servos. The shortest one here is actually the arm joint. I'm kind of put it on the next one. So 0, then 1. And the wrists I'm going to put on 2. And that's our front right leg connected. Now I thought I had a small bit of spiral wrap floating around. You can see how that cable management does make it a lot neater and tidier. So our longest one I'm going to put on from our front left. So we've done the front right, front left. I'm putting on to 12. These pins are a bit bent. Well, 13, 14. These ones are the same. So this is the back left shoulder, and it's going on to 8. Back left arm. I really should label this. And I've just got to get some more of those extensions so I can do the wrist servos on the back. Alright, we'll sort those out shortly. Okay, so I've got my extensions to go on, and I'll put them on shortly. But before I do, there are a couple of things that need to happen before I can power this robot up. First, I need to get the nose on, and I've printed that. And I've even printed the mounts for the ultrasonics. You may have briefly seen this in an earlier video where I've created the wiring for this. So what we're going to do, I think, is mount on the ultrasonics, mount those into where they need to be, and then we can bolt this front cover on, and at least the front looks complete. So to get these to stay put, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can hot melt glue it in, or we can tack weld it with a bit of PLA from a 3D pen. And I think I'm going to weld them in. So I'll grab my 3D pen. Okay, so I'm happy with the positioning of that. So what I might do is tack it from the inside. It's a problem, I've got it turned up too high. Such an awkward shape. So this part here is actually a mount for a Raspi Camera with provision for 4 LEDs to act as a floodlight, or lighting anyway, for the Raspberry Pi. I'll put those in to get the second one in place. That's much better speed. Might have to file in there. I will have to file in there. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so after a touch up with a file and a little bit of trimming, this part now fits in quite nicely. It's very loose fitting in there, but it will hold. But we can fix that in place with a bit of hot melt glue, I think would be the best solution, or we can weld it in. The only problem with welding it in at the moment is I haven't got the Raspberry Pi camera mounted on it, and I can see those screws being difficult to access once we do so. So now that I know that it will fit in there and that the spot has been cleaned up ready for it, I think I'll leave it until I'm ready to put the camera in. And for that, I have to actually find the camera. I have got one floating around that I can use, like this one. Now the next question is, do I have any screws small enough? For that, I will have to go find them. This is a small kit I bought. I think I got this one from Banggood a couple of years ago. So would pay to have a look and see what's available now. Now this is a kit of lots of different size screws. So we've got M1.3, M1.4, 1.5. It looks like longer 1.2s in 3, 4, 5. Some 1.4s in 3, 5. 1.7 in 5 and 1.7 in 6. So I'm guessing these look to be about right size. They fit through the hole and don't go all the way through. They all look good. So that's a 1.7 by 5. So that'll sit in there. I will have to climb over the top to pull those wires through. I'll get some photos of this as soon as I finish this video, and I'll either put them in this video about now, or I will put them on the thumbnail. So that'll do with the 3D pen for now. Now with the ultrasonics, the way I've set these up is they poke in from either side. Okay, so the trick is you've got this little knob here. You've got to start from the end of it and feed the barrel of the two sensors into it. And then it just pushes down flush. And we can push the wire that joins them right into this groove. Then on the other side we've got this one. Ideally we want this brown wire to be on the right hand side, because that'll line up nicely with where the ground is. And if you remember from that video, the ground is our zero, or the brown is our 0 volts. The red is our supply of D0, D2, and then we use D3 through D6 for the trigger and echo signals. Got it. Now we'll get the hot melt glue gun out and give it a hit with some hot melt glue to hold it in place. So I had more hot melt glue for this, but we'll see if there's enough left here to just hold these in. I think that worked. Okay, now for the fun part. Okay, so these are the M5 screws that are designed to hold on the front and top. There's also some for the bottom. I'm just going to put a couple in the top for now to hold it. Should have made this connector for the ultrasonic, so a little bit longer, but that's in. Now if you remember from the video where I wired that up, we're supposed to leave that pin free. That's actually a reset pin. And our camera is going to be very tight indeed. I think it's in there. Right, so that's all the front end wired up. Let's look at the back end again. Right, that's our back right leg. I think I will come back later and put some spiral wrap on these, just to keep them nice and tidy. And that's that. Right, so it only leaves the back section to do, and that'll allow us to fire up. The top cover will then fit on the top here. It won't obviously because I've got 2 screws in the top at the moment. Now this is actually a mod that I found on Thingiverse, this top cover, and it has these rails in it. I've only got the one nut installed in this at the moment. I will link to it. The idea is you can put these rails on the top. They're adjustable, and then you can mount your own hardware on top. So that's something that I'm looking at doing. I also found with it a mount that supports a GoPro type fitting. So we can actually get recording off this if we need to down the track. In the next video, I'll complete the wiring of the back end, hook up the power, put the rubbers on the feet, which I did print. This is TPE, so very much like a TPU, same family of products. It's a soft flexible material. Again, I'll do that in the next video. After we've got all that done, I've installed a micro SD in here. That micro SD has the Buster OS, Raspberry Buster, and that's mostly because I have installed Buster before on a Raspberry Pi, in this case for Fred, and installed my Robot Lab on it. So I'm just going to follow those instructions that I've already worked through to get it running. So that'll do for this video. Don't forget to leave a comment on any questions you might have or anything you'd like to see explained better. If you like these videos, click on like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. It's a form of support that helps the channel a great deal and costs you absolutely nothing. If you'd like to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon account, and you can join my VIP members, Joe Lucky and Lorenz Berger. They get these videos as they're produced, and my other Patreons, Al Morales 45 and Ratchet, get these videos 2 weeks before YouTube does. There's a Discord server also running. We've got a growing community there that you might like to join. There'll be a link in the description for that as well. And we'll see you in the next video.